Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you, Zach. We will be recording this meeting. Yeah, thank you for coming today, students. We really appreciate that you are out here to learn more about imposter phenomenon and the ways that we can manage this as we move forward throughout our lives and throughout the things that we do. So to get started, I will introduce myself. So my name is Kalina Cordero. I am a college success coach in the Tacoma region. I serve Pacific Lutheran University, University of Puget Sound, Pierce College, and Northwest College of Art and Design. And I'll pass it to my colleague.
Hi, everyone. I am Julianne Pearson, but my students call me JP, and I'm a college success coach at Eastern Washington University in the Spokane region. And we're happy that you guys are here today. We're excited to share some new knowledge or maybe some past knowledge, just more of a revamp for you, on the imposter phenomenon. And so next slide. This is what the agenda is going to look like today. So you can see we're going to go over the objectives. You can read this, but this is what you're going to go over today. And then please, at the end, stay because we're going to do 2 different drawings for $50 gift cards for whoever's here for the whole webinar. Okay, so please stay to the end. First,
thank you.
Yes, so first, again, today is going to be about imposter phenomenon. And so you're going to learn what it is, and how to navigate those feelings, and then how to deal with it. And so that's going to be probably the bigger piece of it is what you're going to take away is how to, the tools that can help you, and just give you a lot more resources on how to navigate those feelings and what to do when you feel them.
Perfect. Thank you, JP. So before we get started today, we wanted to go over some community guidelines just to kind of like set the tone for the space, especially keeping in mind that this is a more personal topic. So use I statements when talking about personal experiences. There will be breakout room sessions today as well as big share outs. So if you're talking about yourself, state that it's about yourself. Lean in by showing curiosity and attention to others when they share. Lean back by giving others space to share. If you notice that maybe you're talking a little more than others, maybe allow more time for everyone to share in the room. Be open to learning new things from others' experiences. And lastly, but not least, respect what is shared by not repeating others' personal stories outside of this space. So we hope this really can help you all set the tone for our workshop. And now, before we get started, we have a pre-survey. And so when you are ready, can take out your phone, scan this QR code and fill that out. It'll be some questions kind of about imposter phenomenon to see what we know now and compare it to what we will learn after. So please take a second to do this survey and put a thumbs up in the chat when you're done. The link is also in the chat too. Thank you to those putting the thumbs up in the chat. Please keep it rolling. All right, we can give about like 1 more minute, get those surveys in. All right. So we'll get started today. Thank you for filling out that pre-survey. So, JP, would you like to quickly introduce this slide?
Yes, so anytime that we have a breakout group throughout this webinar, this is going to be a group assignments. It looks like we have enough to fill 2 groups today. And so group 1 will be the perfectionist group and group 2 will be the superhero. These are different types of imposter phenomenon, and you'll learn more about those later. But just know that you're probably going to be in group 1 or group 2. 1 is the perfectionist and 2 is the superhero.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get started. So, little icebreaker activity. Who is the imposter? I hope some of y'all know what Among Us is. Very much a big fan of it in college. So, you'll be separated out into breakout rooms. One person in your room will be the imposter. Okay, this person anonymously left you all of y'all in the group a very nice note explaining how they are grateful for you and thankful you work on the same team. It is your group's job to figure out who the mysterious nice imposter is. And for the imposters, protect your identity at all costs. When we come back to the main room, the imposters will reveal themselves. Now, we know that this doesn't give directions yet for the breakout room. Don't worry, you'll get those when you get in there. But just know there is one imposter in your group, and it's your job to figure out who it is. So I'm going to stop sharing screen for a second, and we will get y'all into breakout groups.
Awesome. They're in there now. Everybody's in.
Thank you.
Of course. And yeah, Diana, Ozzy, you don't need to join. I feel like there's a lot of people in there already. Thanks for joining us, Aurora.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Aurora.
You guys, I don't know if I'm nervous or I'm cold, but I'm like, my teeth are like chattering. I don't know, like,
No.
I don't know if I just gotta turn on my heater or something. I don't know if I'm nervous or cold.
No, I feel you. I've gotten that way before too, and I would think that I'm cold, but it's like a mix for some reason. I don't know, but it's happened. And they were set for 7 minutes, Zach.
Yeah, there were. And then in the first room, there's only 3 students. And in the second room, there's only 4.
Okay.
So just
Got you.
yeah. So hopefully coaches are like participating too, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, so does that mean some students popped out?
Yeah, 1 student dropped.
Okay. And honestly, like kind of looking at the time, we could probably bring them back like a minute or 2 sooner, or maybe broadcast a message.
I just said 2 minutes, 30 seconds, so maybe right at the 2-minute mark.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're still doing the debrief afterwards, and then I'll take it from the Menti Cloud.
Yep. Yeah, what I'm just gonna ask like who the imposters were, and then maybe like how did you figure what was, maybe I don't know, maybe if they figured it out, then I'll ask like how'd you do it, or yeah, we'll see.
And you guys said what time are we bringing them back in?
In about
Zach
1
said at the
minute, 40
2
seconds. Sorry.
Okay, I actually am cold. I think it's both. Yes, nerves and cold. Because I'm like, my fingers feel like they're frozen.
About 1 minute. $20. Sorry. Forgot to broadcast it. So 20 seconds.
Oh, that's my student. Hey Dakota, I see that you joined. Thank you so much for coming. We're just finishing out a breakout room icebreaker activity. So we're about to be coming back to the main room. So no worries, I'm missing it, but thank you for being here.
I'm gonna give them an additional like 45 seconds because it sounds like one room didn't start, the other room has.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see everybody's coming back now. For some reason, I cannot see faces or anything if anyone's showing them, and it's really laggy. But if you were an imposter, could you please reveal yourself? Nicole, okay, thank you for raising your hand. All right, was the people in Nicole's group able to figure that out? You can unmute. You can say it in the chat.
I only see new chats. I don't think I see old ones unless my Zoom is not working.
No one said anything in the chat yet, just that Natalie and Nicole were the imposters. Well, I hope that that worked out for y'all. That was a little twist on like a game that could be done in person, but we hope that those instructions and those conversations, you were able to figure out your imposter. Okay, so we can get started on the content for today. And no one in our group guessed Natalie. Okay, all right. How were the conversations? Did they get started okay?
It was
Yeah.
confusing at first, but then we are getting used to it.
Okay, for sure. Thank you, Val, and thank you, Brittany. All right. Okay, let's get started on our content now. Thank you. And I will get this back up. Okay, so we'll bring it to our word cloud to get started. Okay, JP.
Okay. And so we're going to do a Menti word cloud. I want you guys to think about this. Think about it for a second, and then we're going to open up the Menti word cloud, and you guys are going to add what comes to your mind when you hear the words imposter phenomenon. Okay, just what
So
you
yes.
already know at this point.
So there's a link in the chat that you can click on to open up Menti word cloud. You can also scan this QR code, and I will get this open for us to view. So, 1 second. Let me stop share for a second. Please open that and
And again, you can do more than just one word. And so just enter whatever comes to your mind when you think of imposter phenomenon.
okay,
It can-
all
It can
I
even be a
apologize.
phrase.
Wait, sorry, JP.
I said it can even be a phrase, like whatever comes to your mind.
Okay, all I apologize is I don't have the link to the word cloud that would have popped up for us as we entered our words in there. So in the interest of time and not wanting to take too much time with this so we can get into our content, could you please unmute and speak out what comes to your mind when you think of the words imposter phenomenon, or type in the chat, and then we can go from there.
Okay, it looks like we have pretending. Okay. Hosea.
Faking confidence, indifferent, being left out, undeserving, confused, for sure. All of these. I like how poser kind of goes with imposter here, pretending, yes, just like faking it till you're making it, not feeling like you belong, 100%.
Making confidence, inferior, self-doubt. Good job.
Stress,
Acting. Perfect.
These are all very good contributions to what we think of with these words. And it sounds like people kind of have a general sense. So this is really great to work with. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Diane. Not enough as well. All right. We'll kind of move into our definition so we can get going with our content. Thank you all for participating in that question. So
you guys all pretty much said what it is. We're going to go off this definition for the sake of this webinar, so we all have a foundational understanding. And so that definition is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. And so essentially a lot of the things that you guys have added in the chat all fall under this umbrella. Okay. So believing like you're acting, you're putting on this mask. And I'm not going to go too much further because we're going to go into that on the next slide. So, but this is the definition we're going to work off of today.
okay, thanks, JP. So getting a little more technical, we want to go over why we say imposter phenomenon versus imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome might be what you've heard more commonly said. And that is because we are using the words phenomenon instead of syndrome, because with the word syndrome, that typically refers to mental and physical disorders that are actually recognized like medically. And so the term has kind of been changed to phenomenon to better encompass that it's not an official diagnosis that you could receive from the doctor.
Okay, and so as I was almost getting too far into it, here is more of a deeper dive into the definition. And again, you guys did such a great job in the chat explaining that, but feeling like a fraud. or feeling like you're not as smart as everybody else thinks that you are. It's almost like that acting idea of like putting on this mask of, okay, this is who I am, but internally you're like, I don't even think I deserve to be here. So you have accomplished a lot, but rather than actually saying that I did this and I deserve it, it's like you're like lucky and you doubt your skills and your talents, in which I think a lot of you guys have covered almost every part of this. So good job.
And then lastly, imposter phenomenon, and sometimes we'll refer to this as IP, because it is a mouthful. So if we say IP, that's what we mean. IP can prompt feelings of anxiety and or depression, perfectionist tendencies, or self-sabotage, and that list is not exhaustive. It's evident that dealing with these feelings can cause significant mental health issues that we would love to delve into, because we want to show ways that you might be able to deal with them. So next slide. And now we'll go into a brief history of how imposter phenomenon was discovered.
Okay, yeah, so really just fun facts. So it was first observed by researchers Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes in 1979 at Oberlin College, among several female college graduate students. And they first thought that it was only women felt this imposter syndrome, but then soon learned that 70% of all adults may experience IP at least lives. So everybody in this room, just understand it's not whatever. If you're an adult, more than likely 70% of us has experienced IP.
Mm-hmm. And then next, people of color and other marginalized identities are particularly susceptible to experiencing IP. So while this first was studied among women, over time, it was found that people within other marginalized groups will feel this more commonly than others. And so imposter feelings are also made worse by systemic oppression, such as racism, classism, sexism, xenophobia, homophobia, etc. And this factor was not included in the original study back in 1979, which we can tie back to decades ago, how a lot of other groups besides predominantly white heterosexual male and white women as well were more focused on and not considering the experiences of others amongst different races, amongst different social classes, amongst different genders and whatnot, more stigmatized back then. So we can see how over time other systemic oppressions have contributed to IP becoming worse among different populations. That covers a little bit of our brief history. So now we will get into talking about the 5 common imposter types. So I will introduce our first one, the perfectionist. So the perfectionist is fixated on what could be better without seeing their strengths.
The second one is the superhero, which is compelled to work as hard as possible and take as many roles as possible.
Mm-hmm. The expert, who's always trying to learn more and never feeling like they know enough.
4 is the natural genius, which avoids challenges because it is uncomfortable to try something they aren't already good at.
And lastly, but probably not all of the types, the soloist measures success in their individual productivity, and they do not ask for help. So we also wanted to kind of get a little personal here and touch on ourselves. So when JP and I were starting this off, we were thinking back about ourselves. And I think like as a kid, I was very much more the natural genius. I never wanted to try new things because I was afraid I was going to look dumb. So I stuck with one sport my whole life, and that was soccer, and I never tried anything else. And then as I've gotten older, definitely noticed a perfectionist a little bit more. Maybe I do well on something, but I think only on what could have been better.
And so for me, I feel like just majority of my life, and even to this day, I am a mixture of 2, and that is the expert and the soloist. Always trying to learn something new, but never feeling like I'm ever getting to like top tier, right? And again, these are the 5 common types, so then you guys maybe felt that way as well, but also the soloist. So I also feel like I need to continuously be doing things, but I'm also nervous about being a burden, so I don't always ask for help. And so those are the 2 that I feel like I am. And again, so based off looking at these, kind of just think about, where do you fall in? And if you're not, these are just the common ones. There might be something else, but these are the 5. And so just think about where you may fall. We're going to do a Jamboard activity next, actually focusing on this. And so what you're going to do is you're going to, based off of the definitions that you just learned, and they will be put in the chat as well, is make a sticky note. You're going to put your name on it, and you're just going to put your name next to the type that you believe that you are. And if you are two types, that's fine. We can put your name on twice, but go ahead and add your name next to the type that you are. And actually, while you're doing that, I think maybe, is it in the chat? If it's not in the chat, I can read them over again. Okay, they are. Okay.
Everything's in the chat. Yep.
Wait.
Thanks, JP. Thank you, Zach. Okay, seeing lots of perfectionists. Seeing more natural genius. We got superhero. Thank you all for being brave and just putting your name out there. Takes a lot to own up to this for sure. So, okay.
Okay, I see a few of you. A soloist love over here.
So at this time, we invite if anyone would love to unmute or type in the chat why they put their sticky note by that type. JP and I kind of already shared a little bit about why we mentioned our types. So anyone is welcome to share about theirs and what you may have, how that may have shown up for you.
I put both the superhero and the perfectionist because I'm trying to work as hard as I can, but I'm also a perfectionist because I'm seeking for something that's perfect. I want to like keep working until I'm satisfied with the results there.
Yeah.
And I'm also the experts because I would always try to learn more about something like here. For example, the TV analysis that I have every Tuesday and Thursday. I actually know more about TV than anybody else, but even though I'm trying hard, I might get an okay grade, but that's all right.
Thank you, Bao. Thank you for those really thoughtful reflections about yourself among and the different areas in which you have experienced imposter phenomenon, like the different types that you could probably be, and for the examples. We really appreciate it. And Natalie, it's easier for me to focus on the bad instead of appreciate the good. 100%. Kyle, it was a factor in feeling like I was good enough to be a scientist, so I ended up with a double degree. Yeah. Sounds like a lot of like productivity feelings and just like always needing to be work. And I'm sure that's contributed to accomplishments for all of y'all. But it no doubt can affect yourself too. Okay. Any thoughts too, JP?
No, I'm just grateful you guys are sharing. It looks like we have need to be involved to show my worth, but be independent so people know I can hold my own. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. And I'm hoping that you guys see in the chat and with the stories that everyone's sharing is just, you're not alone. We all have these feelings.
That's real. Yep. Okay, we'll get back to our lesson. Thank you all for doing that activity and being vulnerable and putting your names out there. Okay, so moving forward, now we are going to do a poll. So this will really show us all kind of what feelings we've had and how many people have experienced them. So these are going to focus on feelings and effects of imposter phenomenon, and I will stop sharing my screen so that we can activate that poll. And so statements are going to appear for you in like a quiz format. And you'll have some time to fill it out, and you'll have a spectrum from strongly agree to strongly disagree about these feelings. And just answer as honestly as possible. And you'll have some time to finish it. And yep, so please take the time to fill out.
Helena, we're not going to read these out loud then, yeah? Just read it?
No, we are. Yeah,
Okay.
or let it finish and then we'll see the results. And people are seeing the poll, correct?
I'm able to see the poll just fine.
Okay, thank you, Belle. All right, starting to see some answers coming through. Lots of agreeing. Okay, we got 12 out of 17 students have participated. Give you a little bit more time to get done with this. Okay, about 30 more seconds. If you haven't gotten your answers in, please do so. Okay, we'll end the poll now. All right, now we're gonna share these results with you all. So can people see results? Can I get a thumbs up?
Yes, I am.
All right. Thank you, Val. Okay, JP, would you like to start?
Okay, wait, are we going over the results or are we going over the scenarios?
The results and like the statements, yeah.
Okay, so I've often have succeeded on a test or task, even though I was afraid that I would not do well before I undertook the test. And it looks like a good chunk of you strongly agree and agree. And so that should give you guys the idea that, okay, you're not alone in that. There's, yeah, good chunk of you guys who do, and then neutral, but it's less that people who do disagree.
Mhm. Yeah, next one we have I avoid evaluations when possible and dread the thought of other people evaluating me. And we're along a lot of strongly agree and agree. And yes, not all these statements will apply to you. Everybody experiences this differently, but again, we're seeing a common trend here.
Okay, and you guys can see the results, so I'm just going to read the actual thing. 3, when people praise me for something I've accomplished, I'm afraid I won't be able to live up to their expectations of me in the future.
Mhm.
And yeah, 47% of you guys agree.
At times I feel my success has been due to some kind of luck. This one's a little more staggered, but I know for me, like this is something I've always felt. So I see that people have resonated with that statement as well.
I'm disappointed at times in my present accomplishments and think I should have accomplished much more. 47% strongly agree.
It's big. Next, I often compare my ability to those around me and think they may be more intelligent than I am. Another 47% strongly agree, more agree than neutral and disagree. So yep, for sure.
I tend to remember the incidents in which I have not done my best more than those times that I have done my best. And so I think that was kind of said in the chat earlier, as we're focusing on like the negative more than the positive. And it looks like a lot of you guys are strongly agree and agree to that one as well.
Mhm. When I've succeeded at something and received recognition, I have doubts that I can keep repeating that success, and an overwhelming amount agrees.
If I received a great deal of praise and recognition for something I've accomplished, I tend to discount the importance of what I've done. Okay, we got some neutral there. So it seems like, yeah, we have some agree, but the neutral. So that's the winning one there. So you guys are kind of in the middle with that one. But a good chunk of you guys agree on being neutral.
And lastly, if I feel bad or discouraged if I'm not in the best situations that involve achievement. So a little more about along the spectrum, but we really just wanted to read these out loud to show you all how much these imposter feelings can manifest for you in different ways, and how there's a lot of people that feel similarly to you, especially if you might feel alone. So thank you for doing that activity too, and we'll continue with our presentation and getting more into scenarios next.
Okay, so we have so many different scenarios, and you guys will definitely come up with your own as well, because like we just mentioned, a lot of you have had these experiences or had those moments where you just felt like an imposter. And so here are some. You can read them here. And so we got the being hired or promoted at work, learned a new skill or task, pressure from others to achieve high levels of success, being accepted into college or starting college. That's a lot of you, especially first gen students, receiving attention because of your success or working in highly competitive environments. And I think we have a little bit of time to share our own, right, Kalina? You can go first.
Yeah, I could share one, and then I think just in the interest of time, maybe we'll go out into breakout rooms really quickly. So I can just briefly share. I know for me, I just graduated college last year, and this is my first real big professional job. So that was a big thing for me, and always feeling like I got something to prove as I've been in this role. And then so yeah.
Okay, we're gonna break around. We don't have time for mine. Go on.
No, we got you later, JP, in the next share out. Okay, so we would love y'all to reflect on this question. After learning about different scenarios for imposter phenomenon and ways that you feel it and the types, where does IP show up for you most frequently? So we'll do that in breakout rooms again. You may be with the same people and you may not, but just reflecting on the question, where does IP show up for you most frequently? And then we'll come back into the main room to share out. Please designate one person in your group as well to share about the group's experiences or something that stood out. JP, you should share your scenario in the main room. I was just trying to get us into the rooms. But my fault on the word cloud, my goodness, I did not have like the actual like account link up. Only the link to like vote. So I should have put like the actual word cloud in. I put the wrong link in the presentation. So that's what happened. But everybody got to like open the voting one. I saw that opened for people, but the actual cloud did not come up for me. So that's my fault.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll go way to improvise and tell them to put it in the chat. So that was great. You're good.
I was just like, I'm not gonna waste a minute trying to find this website right now because you know when you're frazzled and you're like, oh, I'm not finding it. It's just not gonna happen.
Real.
How much time are we giving them in the breakout room?
It was 6 minutes. Right now they have 4 minutes and 40 seconds left.
Okay.
But if we need to close it earlier, I'm happy to.
ERB real quick.
Be right back.
Kalina, so for the negative impacts, I know we just talked about, we were just going to read them pretty much what was on there and not add anything to it, because especially for time.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, maybe because we just have like a short share after this and then the negative impacts and maybe negative impacts, asking how people maybe have managed it, tips for managing. Yeah, I guess really, we're gonna have to put a lot in this last 15, but that'll be okay. We'll be good.
So do you think I should share my scenario when we get back into the big room, or quickly do it, or just get into negative impacts?
I think quickly do it. I think especially because probably not going to share out like right away too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Zach, I really appreciate you because listen, if I had to do all these different things, I'd be even more nervous than what I already am. I'd be scrambling like, what am I
Yeah.
doing? I don't know what to do.
Yeah, because of COVID, I feel like I had so much experience running programs and stuff. So even if it was to share the screen, do all this stuff, I don't mind doing it. Appreciate being involved. Just so y'all can focus on the presentation and being y'all. But it's going great. It's going great.
I really appreciate Bao always unmuting, telling stories.
JP, did you get your shirt?
No, not yet.
Okay. Lauren's got it. So,
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it didn't come to my house.
okay. Yeah. I mailed it to Lauren, all of them. So, should be coming soon.
Ah,
But she got it
okay.
already for sure.
Okay, because I would love that sooner than later. I have to be at a football game on Saturday, and yeah, that'd be perfect to wear at an Eastern game because it's red.
Yeah.
And so,
So, one of these, the one that I'm wearing right now, but then also that red shirt too.
yay, she knows it's for me and for
Yeah.
whoever else.
I literally put
Okay,
it on
good.
that sign and I messaged her too.
Okay, good. Kalina, I was just looking at the slide with managing tips and versus the this thing, and they're
Mhm.
out of order. Does that matter? You still want to go off what's on the slide, right? And are we still breaking it down with what's in the thingy, or are we just reading what's on the line?
Yeah, we
I mean,
should like how we just break it down like how it was, yeah, like the description. That's fine. Hey, thank you all. Welcome back. We hope that those were good discussions and maybe there was some stuff you related to amongst each other. JP would quickly share her scenario, and then if anyone else would like to share something from your group, especially the people who are designated, please do so.
yeah, so I've been in this position for several years now, 7+ years, and I was working at North Central High School before here, and I remember one of the last few things that I did there, I was asked to be a speaker for the College Trust Foundation, and just being a first-generation college student, being the first in my family at this event, and I was just thinking like, who am I to share about this? I just felt like I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't the accomplished person that people think I am to be in this position. And so I did it, but I was so nervous doing it, right? It's almost like putting on that mask of like, okay, yeah, this is me. I am the first gen and all these things, in which is true though. And I did go far to accomplish the things that I have to be in the position that I'm in. But at the time, again, you just have these nerves and you just feel like you're not enough. And so through it, I was feeling that. Looking back and actually learning about imposter phenomenon, like, oh, okay, that's all that was. But how I went through it was I just did it. It was like Nike. Anybody have any other stories or any time that you felt that? Some scenarios? We don't have so much time, but whoever wants to share.
Our group has talked about how IP has showed up in schools mainly because it's that sorry, I had to like lower down my voice there, but anyway, our anyway, let me go back to what I'm left off with. So our group has talked about how IP has showed up in our schools, mainly because of like other stuff that we have to do, such as the homework assignments and such. Thank you.
Thank you, Bao. Anybody else?
Yeah, our group talked about the educational setting as well, like being in honors classes and grad school and applying for PhD programs. We just feel like other people have so much more life experience and education than we do. And like, what business do we have being here? But, we've got to hold space for ourselves, because if we don't, nobody will. And we're our own worst critics. And why do we do that to ourselves, you guys? We are all worthy and we're all deserving.
Yes, I agree. Okay, thank you guys for sharing. And so you guys can tell that there's just so many different areas where this shows up for us. Thank you.
Yes. Completely. And so
Okay, and
now I'm just to try to get into presenter mode. Sorry, 1 second. But we'll keep on moving until I figure that out. So now we'll just briefly go over some negative impacts of imposter phenomenon for ourselves. And all of you have touched on this. Being hesitant to ask for help is one of them.
likely to turn down new opportunities and projects.
Yep. Difficulty advocating for yourself.
Procrastinating out of fear that you won't be able to complete a project to high standards. I know how that feels.
We have perfectionism.
You got burnout.
And then negative mental health outcomes like stress, anxiety, and or depression. So everybody's kind of touched on this. If you have any others that you can think of, please feel free to share that in the chat. And we will now go into kind of the bulk of this last section, how we manage imposter phenomenon. So y'all have kind of learned a lot about what it is. And so looking back, how did you manage those feelings and emotions? Maybe you didn't recognize it was IP in the past, but have you ever felt something and you figured out a way out of it? I know for me, like if I was struggling, feeling good about myself in any situation, I would just try to remind myself of the things that I know I'm good at. Like if I had to do a public speaking thing and I was very nervous about it and I didn't feel confident, I would just remember, hey, I've done this before. I did a presentation last week. I can do it again. And you can share this out, type it in the chat, however.
Yeah, we're going to share some of those managing strategies, but I will say for me, I need reminders. And so I'm a mother. And so in order for me to feel like I'm doing something is when somebody says, hey, you're a good mother, right? To hear it be said to me makes me feel like I'm doing something right.
Bao said, taking deep breaths while reflecting on what I am now. Deep breaths, great regulation technique, just getting yourself back. And I saw someone ask, what did the procrastination mean? Great question, Paula. That can refer to like, you have something big coming up, maybe it's a school thing, and there's a lot of self-doubt about it. And you're just thinking, oh my God, I have no idea how I'm going to get this done. And you continue to push it off until there's maybe not enough time to get it done. That is kind of what procrastination refers to. I hope that helps. Thank you, Natalie. Okay, we'll continue forward with some tips for managing imposter phenomenon.
Okay, so first thing is reframe your negative thoughts. And so this practice can take time, but be a powerful tool. So you would try to reframe your beliefs about achievements into opportunities to learn and grow, such as turning my coworkers are so brilliant, I don't deserve to be here, into I'm going to learn so much from my brilliant colleagues.
Another one is reminding yourself of your skills, finding quick and meaningful ways to remind yourself of your skills and continue with success, like writing down things you've achieved, anything nice that somebody's told you about yourself, similar to what JP shared as one of their ways of managing IP. Just keep in mind what you've known has been good about you.
Okay, and then coaching yourself, right? I think we all kind of do that when we talk to ourselves. Self-coaching is a great way to navigate challenging feelings. Ask yourself questions like, if I knew everything would work out, how would I view this situation? Or when have I handled something like this before, to remind yourself of your abilities?
Another one, huge one, don't compare yourself. Much easier said than done, but resist comparing your work and achievements and overall self to others. Try to focus only on you and what you can control about yourself and what you've accomplished and what's meaningful about you.
Okay, so I have find a mentor. And so speaking with a mentor, especially one who shares your salient identities or career field, is a helpful tactic. They may be able to share how they have navigated similar challenges. And so I just want to note here that your CSF coach is a perfect person, okay, that you can go to and talk to about these things.
Yes. I have talked to somebody. Think about somebody you may trust that you can share your feelings about yourself with. Somebody who you know it won't judge you, as well as thinking about counseling or therapy if that's something you feel confident enough to start. That may take some time to get there, but if you would like to seek out therapy, that is also a great resource.
Okay, and lastly, help others. If you see someone experiencing imposter phenomenon, reach out and offer support. Helping someone else feel more confident or adjust to a new task can help you build your own confidence as well.
Yes. So those are some tips that we have for you all to deal with the things we've talked about today. And if you have any other tips you can think of, please feel free to share them in the chat. We'd love to read them and let others in the space read them. So we have a nice little thing you could maybe do on your own.
Okay, so this is like I said earlier, it's like, we are giving you ways to manage. And so like reminding yourself of your qualities and your successes. And so on your own, it doesn't have to be now, but at some point, just sit down and make a list of your qualities, successes, achievements, and other reminders about yourself that you're proud of. And then save it somewhere, maybe on a sticky note or maybe in your desk, on your laptop, somewhere. Make that list and just have it readily available. So whenever you're feeling down or you're feeling that IP, you can go look at it and it will be a great reminder of how great you actually are. Something that I learned back in the day from a colleague at the high school level was to create a smile file. So let's say you're getting notes from your mentor saying, hey, you did a great job at speaking at this event, or, your essay was wonderful. Or maybe it's from another student like you saying that I think that you're great, or anything that is a compliment to you, an affirmation, put it in a file. I have a smile file that I've had since I started this job at College Trust Foundation. And every time I get a thank you note from a student, it's all in there. Any pictures that I have that just give me that memory of when I did this, it is a great reminder of I did do work to get here and I'm appreciated. And sometimes we just need that reminder. So create a smile file or make a list of your qualities.
That's perfect. A great example of a tip, JP. Thank you. And so lastly, before we kind of wrap up, want to put this last lesson in. Bear with me here. It's a little heavy, but we have to cover it. Society's role in creating imposter phenomenon. So we've talked about a lot of individual feelings, but it's important to know that imposter phenomenon exists because different forms of systemic oppression. So educational settings, professional settings have all built upon systems that have historically favored some groups over others. Examples: white, male, heterosexual, able-bodied, Christian, educated, middle to upper class. This will always contribute to feelings of being a fraud or like you don't belong, especially if you don't fall into these groups. So we hope that you can walk away with some tools today to help you manage these feelings, especially when they come up in the spaces you're involved in. And then lastly, it is okay to leave one space to find another that doesn't trigger these feelings. We do talk a lot about pushing through, showing that we're capable, a good teammate, also a great individual worker, but we also have to preserve ourselves. And so a lot of these tips we hope help you, and also that it's okay to know you can seek out safer spaces if it's necessary.
Okay.
And now to end.
And so lastly, I mean, if we have anything to do with it, we're going to do this, we're going to end this off with a bang. And so what we want you to do is, you've been in breakout sessions with several different people today, whether it was a coach or whether it was another student. We would love for you to either unmute or in the chat, tag that person or put their name in there and just let them know, give them an affirmation, give them a compliment, something that you witnessed today that you felt like was great about that person. Maybe they shared a story, maybe they were vulnerable about something. Let them know how you feel, especially if it's a great thing. And then aside from that, because we don't have much time today, we challenge you to affirm a new person every day. So after today, anytime that you feel like somebody did a great job, send them a message. Let them know, say it out loud. do something to where be that imposter from the breakout session in the beginning. Write that nice little note and let them know how you feel about them. So that's the challenge from us for you today, and continue just do affirmations every day to a new person every day. And that's like a compliment, just something to make them feel good and remind them that, you know, they are accomplishing something and they're working hard.
Thanks, JP. I'd like to give an affirmation to my colleague JP for doing this with me and going through the process of planning this all out. That is my big affirmation to her. And it was great to get to know you through all of this.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting that one. I appreciate you,
Oh.
Kalina, so much.
Got you. Natalie shouted out Valeria, who had to leave today, but said that Vale was so great at being present and honest in the group. That was very sweet of you, Natalie. I'm sure I'll pass that on to Valeria. Actually, they're my students, so I got you. Oh, Val got Kyle.
Cass is the best. I love it.
Sure. Yeah, I know not a ton of students are left, but we do have one last thing. So thank you all for doing that for each other. It's very great to see this support. So whoever is left, we have a post survey and a raffle to end off. So please, if you're still here, scan this and fill out the post survey to give us some feedback here. Yeah, that is all for this part of section. Then stay if you're a student for the raffle. Ayana shouted out Brittany. That's very nice.
So again, don't leave. Fill this out and don't leave.
Oh, I was about to ask if I was about to ask if one of you can give me a link in the chat, but thank you.
Yes, link in the chat, fill it out, and then we're gonna do a drawing, 2 drawings actually. When you're done, if you can put a thumbs up in the chat, will be perfect so we know when to move on.
Get us into the raffle now. Okay. Oh. Okay. Thanks, Cass. All right, we'll go forward. Thank you. And then prize drawing. Zach, would you like to share your screen or? Yeah, okay.
You see it?
Yes.
Perfect. Whenever y'all ready, just give me a countdown. I'm gonna shuffle it a few times and then I'll click spin whenever y'all tell me.
You go first, Kalina.
3, 2, 1.
Hey.
Hey, that's my student. Okay, yay, Dakota. Woo!
All right. Good job. Congratulations, Dakota. All right, here we go. Zach, you ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Yay, Natalie.
Oh, and the imposter.
Thank you. Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
Thank you
Thank
all
you.
for attending. And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to contact your coach or contact Kalina or I. We'll be happy to answer any questions. We're just so grateful that you guys came today, and hopefully you learned something new.
Yeah. Thank you all for being here. We hope that this gets you in further conversations with the people who are there for you. So we appreciate it.
Affirm a new person every day. That's the challenge.
I hope I can win on the virtual game night next week.
We hope you do too, Bao.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.